Hola, my name is Pablo Stanley, and I am a designer who is colorblind. So recently, I tried the X Chroma glasses. These X Chroma glasses are supposed to help colorblind people see color, and apparently, I have color blindness that is a little bit too strong, so they didn't work for me. The intention of this video was actually record reaction video of me using these, but the results were a little bit disappointing. And I actually kind of cried. Like these videos, usually people cry, but I cried for the wrong reasons. I cried because I was disappointed. So I decided not to make that video because, well, nothing happened. But that gave me the idea of actually telling you a story. So this video is going to be story time. The story time of how I found out that I was colorblind. That's one of the things that they don't tell you. You could be colorblind and probably you don't even know. A lot of people go on through their whole life not knowing that they're colorblind because being colorblind, you just see reality in a way and you think everyone sees it that way. There's no point of comparison. It's not a switch that you can just turn on and off and then see the difference. You just always see the same thing. So for you, that's reality. And I'm pretty sure we all see colors in a different way. Just some of us don't see that many colors. And that's all. I have red-green color blindness, which is called protanopia. And this is kind of like the most common color blindness out there. It's still, I think it affects like 1 or 2% of the population. I might be wrong on these numbers. I am not able to distinguish between the red, green, yellow colors of the spectrum. In that section, for me, colors are a little bit muddy. The brightness of reds and greens are a little bit mute. I confuse red with black. What you call purple, lavender, and violet, all of those colors for me, they're just blue. I see some pinks as white, which has led me to buy a lot of stuff that I thought was white, but then I'm wearing a pink t-shirt, which is not bad. It's kind of cool. So I found out that I was colorblind back in 2001, long time ago. Back then, I was working as a graphic designer for a print company that did like banners and wall prints and everything about advertisement in a store or outside a store, all that kind of stuff. This was back in my hometown in Mexicali, Mexico. I was in charge of designing everything and also preparing it for production because we didn't just design the stuff, we also printed it and installed it. So part of my job was, well, designing the things and then preparing them for print because someone else will actually produce them and install them. And when I say print, I actually mean cutting or plotting because we used to have like these big machines that instead of printing, they will cut. They will cut on giant rolls of sticker, of vinyl sticker. So this vinyl sticker will be cut in the form of letters or in the form of icons, of logos. And probably when you go outside a store and you see a sign or a banner, look for it. And it's probably not a print. It's probably a sticker that has been cut in the shape of a letter or shape of a word. So we had a big client called Proconsa. And Proconsa was like the Home Depot of Mexicali. It still exists. So they had like giant warehouses across the city where you could find anything for home improvement and home development. So Proconsa was opening a new big store. And they came to us because they wanted everything for that store regarding the graphic designing and all the signs. So Proconsa had a very strong branding and everybody locally knew who they were. And we all knew that their logo was orange. So every sign, every logo, everything that was inside a store or any advertisement had this orange color. So I was in charge of designing all the signs for the walls and all the signs for the hanging signs and for the doors and everything inside the store and outside the store. I was in charge of designing that and setting it up for production. It was a really big project. And back then I was still in school. So I actually worked after school. I worked in the afternoons, like half time. I prepared all the files, I put them all together, just like to be able to, the person that was in charge of cutting them and printing them, next morning, they will be just have the files and get them in production. So next day comes and I come back to work and I go to our print shop, and our print shop was actually pretty big. It was kind of also a warehouse. And I go in there and I see everything. Everything had been already printed, everything had been already cut, and everything was laid out there and on big tables and everything. But it looked like production had been stopped, or at least nobody, some of the stuff had been already put in signs, but some of the stuff hadn't. And it didn't look like anybody was working on it anymore. So I was a little bit confused. I was like, okay, probably they're taking a break. But then the project manager saw me from afar and he was like, Pablo, come over here. And I obviously realized like something was wrong. But I still was like, no, you come over here. No, I'm kidding. I did go over there. So I was sure I made a mistake. Something went wrong. And usually the kind of mistakes that I would make will be in sizes, because you're dealing with really big sizes with big signs. So sometimes you get a couple of inches or a couple of feet. Sometimes you get them wrong. So you have to do it again. And it's usually just like one sign or two signs, and that's it, you know? So it was like, okay, well, probably we had one of these signs wrong. It looked like it was something bigger. So, so he's like, come over here. Look at this. And he showed me just like on the tables, like all the signs were, some of the signs were there, and just the stickers and color. It's like, look at this. And I was like, yeah, look at what? What's going on here? And I was like, I don't know. And I was really confused. I don't know. Is something wrong? Is the size wrong? No, look at the color. What color is it? And I knew it should be orange, because we all knew Proconsa, their branding color was orange. So I said, well, it's orange. And he was like, no, it's green. What the hell? It was like, it's green? He says, yes, it's green. So he was also very confused. So hold on. So for you, this is orange? And I was like, well, if you say it's green, then it's green, I guess. But for me, it's orange. And he was like, what the hell? No, this is green. Everything was printed green. Obviously, I got a little bit defensive. And I was like, you know what? But, well, whatever the color is here, whatever the color of the production, I sent the files the right way. I'm pretty sure I sent the files in orange. So I was like, let's check my files. Let's open the computer and check it out. So I went to my computer, to my desk, and just like opened the files. I remember I had like one of those giant Macs back then, like the ones that were translucent. Oh, and I was using freehand too. Back then we used freehand. Anyway, we opened up the file and I was like, look at it. It's orange. And he was like, no, that's green. That thing on the screen, that's green. And that's when I knew something was wrong. I was like, wow. Well, for me, it looked orange, but apparently it wasn't. And they were really nice about it. I'm pretty sure they lost a lot of money on that thing. But they didn't fire me. I don't know what, they should have fired me. I think they were just like very confused and also mesmerized about the fact that, like, hold on. So how have you been doing your job if you cannot see color? Now I have to check every time that I'm doing a design. Now, obviously, you learn on the hue spectrum. You learn where the reds are, where the oranges are, where the greens and the yellows are. So I would adapt, like put a color in the part where I know if I choose a color in this part of the hue spectrum, it should be yellow. And that's how I choose colors. I will see in the spectrum and I will choose in a space in the spectrum, and I know that should be an orange. And reducing the saturation, it should be a brown. And And that's how I know for sure that a color is a specific color by numbers. But I still make sure that the color that I choose is the color that I want it to be by asking someone else. I'll be like, hey, does this look purple to you? And yeah, people are usually really cool about it. And that's it. That's how I found out that I was colorblind. And I tried the N-Chroma glasses, and apparently my color blindness is too strong, and there's a chance that the glasses don't work for you if your color blindness is too strong. So they warn you about it. So they warned me about it. But still, I think being colorblind I can see it as a good thing. I was really looking forward to seeing color as almost everybody else sees color, but who cares, right? I was kind of afraid. What if I had seen something that I didn't like, and also kind of afraid of seeing and realizing, wow, I'm missing out, and probably I'm missing out, but I don't care. I like what I see. My reality is as good as anyone else's, and I think it can be an advantage. It could be an advantage, like something that other people can usually you see as a disadvantage. It could be something that just like makes you see things in a different perspective, and I take it like that. Sometimes it can be disability, your nationality, your accent. Sometimes those kind of things can be what makes you different, and can be a little superpower that you had. You can turn it around. And I choose to use my colorblindness as a superpower. So I suppose my story didn't have a moral of the story at the end, but this can be it. Turn your disadvantage as something that can make you stronger. And that's it. That was the story time. I'm going to try to do more story time things that are related to design, and hopefully you like it. And that's it. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.